unlock this door with the key of delusion. Beyond it is another dimension, a dimension of sound, of sight, and of hoops. You're moving into a land of passion and pain, of blind optimism and crushing
I'm Jared. You're watching The Catechism.
Just trace that little curve right there. There we go. Just a happy little podcast. You're going to love it. And right about here, we sign our name. Jared's never going to send him the puppets, though. That's all right. Gives us something to look forward to.
Oh, I want to be Pat Kelsey. That's a leprechaun. Same thing.
WTF that is, Gabriel?
What are the chances Kentucky lands Stokes?
50-50?
Oh, come on! Trick or treat. Hello?
Piss off, kid. Go Cats!
Dang, every year.
Don't even think about it.
You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
All right. One strand, straight down the middle.
Let's go.
Worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. To new traditions. Cheers.
It's the Catechin. DJ Khaled, born Khaled Muhammad Khaled in 1975 in New Orleans, is an American DJ, producer, and media personality known for his larger-than-life persona and motivational catchphrases. He started out as a radio DJ in Miami, gaining a reputation for his energetic style and deep connections in the hip-hop scene. In the early 2000s, he transitioned into producing and curating all-star rap collaborations, helping launch hits like I'm So Hood and We Taken Over. By the mid-2010s, Khaled had reinvented himself as a viral figure, using Snapchat to deliver over-the-top affirmations and major keys to success. His album, Major Key, debuted at #1, solidifying his status as both meme and mogul, known for his taglines like, Another One, We the Best, and of course, congratulations, you played yourself. And that's what Kentucky did tonight. It's the blue-white game. Fellas, how we feeling?
Pretty good. Was just happy to see the team out on the court. Obviously, worried about Jalen Lowe. Curious to see what the diagnosis is there. Had some guys shine that I didn't think would. Saw some struggle that maybe didn't expect. But all in all, I'm just so ready for basketball season.
Yeah. Hopefully it was nothing. It's a stinger, yada yada. With Jalen. He looked good and fast. So fast and annoying defensively. That was good to see. But, yeah, we saw a lot of good stuff. I think if you told me that Owe was going to be on the winning team and score the least amount of points, I'd be surprised probably. But he was also just incredibly annoying defensively. Feels like our guys are just swiping at the ball a lot, and it also did look a lot like they were ready to stop playing against each other. Once you've seen the same offensive sets run all summer, you probably have a good understanding of what's going on, and it's probably incredibly annoying to play against a defense that's this gifted athletically and also just over scouted on you. But it was, I think that the most intriguing person today for me was Yelovich. He looks scary good. And then Mo, it's something that I don't think we had last year, just the raw strength. I think Owe was as close as we had to that, but the bruiser mentality and just getting to the rim and actually finishing is really nice.
I think the blue-white game is pretty much the Rorschach test because you can pretty much take away from it whatever you want to. Because if we score, great. If we don't, that defense is rocking, baby. I do think that just seeing the way they move, the defense is going to be much better at the start of the year than it was last year, because there were some points last year where it seemed like we couldn't stop anybody. And we had to do some ways to scheme around how we can get some stops. There was a lot of smoke and mirrors. This year, we got the athletes to really string some stops together, and of course, we know what the offense can do. What stuck out to me was, although Owe didn't get a lot of points, he looks like night and day from the defender he was last year. We had to take many more chances of jumping passing lanes to where now he's just getting his body in front of someone.
But, I think like
the talk of the game is going to be Jalen Lowe's shoulder, clearly. Which
is unfortunate. Like I feel like, not that any of these takeaways are necessarily useful at this point. Case in point, Colin Chandler last year looked like a superstar in blue-white game and then really struggled for the first 5 months of the season as he had rust to shake off. And we get it. And then March, he looked great, and that was awesome. Really helped us win some games. But definitely, I think that should serve as a cautionary tale in terms of reading too much into this. And that said, there's a lot that's exciting. I think Jasper looked good. I think Yelovich looked good. I think Mo looked good, especially sort of later in the game, started slow. And I thought Jalen Lowe looked good, so hope he's good. But I really think that one of the nice things about having this is that, we watched the women's scrimmage beforehand, and they had to have their practice players out there because I don't know if it's a depth thing or what, but we in fact had 2 full teams almost. We are so deep that if somebody's not working one night, try somebody else.
Or if somebody dislocates their shoulder.
Or that.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be a wonderful narrative to worry about for at least the next week. There's no way he plays against Purdue, right? Mm-hmm. I can't see a scenario.
I doubt it.
So we're going to get blasted by Purdue, right? Without Lowe and without JQ.
Maybe. We'll see.
I don't know.
Well, I would have said I expected Michigan to come in and blast Cincinnati, and that isn't how that happened. So who knows? Who knows?
Who would start at the 1 then? You think they do? It looked like they were doing Colin Chandler, maybe because they had to, but I would think it would be Aberdeen, right?
I'd assume Aberdeen.
I mean, Aberdeen was running the point guard on the winning team, right?
Yeah,
that's true. Or hear me out, PG1, BG1.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
We run the offense.
I was so confused. I mean, so this team looks physically a lot more different than they did last year because they are big and they're long. And I was so confused because I was watching on my phone and I thought Hawthorne was Moreno. And I thought they had BG and Potter and Moreno out on the same court, on the same lineup. I was like, what the heck is going on? But yeah, we have incredible length. It's going to just be bothersome completely for anybody that plays against us. Moreno had he was getting rebounds. His pass outs from getting rebounds were good. I think Colin hits half of his threes like he was doing at the end of last year. Then the white team wins, right? This is a small it's so hard to take anything from this. But what I did see was just physically how we're built, and how long we are. That's something that was very, very noticeable tonight. And then you saw who was kind of confident to get their shot up in front of a crowd, right? Like Jasper, I thought shined because he was at what's the Atlanta high school basketball thing called?
OTE,
which is just hype on TV, yada yada. Like he was able to kind of bask in that and get his shot off. But then you had like Hawthorne, who I think had he got a lot of really good looks, and then it didn't take them. Like he would pass it again. But he got
I
into
do.
positions.
I think OTE is open to criticism for a lot of things in terms of how they develop players and the style of play that they come out of their having done for a year or two and how that translates. But one thing I think they do incredibly well is they're constantly shoving cameras in these kids' faces. They're constantly putting them on podcasts, even if it's just like their own people, cameras in their faces during games, on the bench. They really keep the spotlight on them, and their arena looks like a pro arena. I mean, it's for someone who has the talent where they don't necessarily need to be at a school where they're going to develop them hard. That's a great way to, I think, get used to the celebrity that's going to come with being a really, really good basketball player in a way that not a lot of schools can prepare you for that.
Right.
Yeah. I'd like to encourage, we got 111 people in here. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Please consider liking and subscribing to the stream. We're kind of an upstart operation here, and we appreciate any sort of support that we can get. We don't want any money, just a little like and a little sub. Please let us know in the chat who you think stuck out to you tonight. I have to say, Trent Noah had Cam Williams in hell because he kept getting him to bite on those threes. And I don't want to step on Ben's point that he made earlier tonight, but he made a solid observation. The lob. Hitting you with the lob, Ben.
Oh, man, I don't remember what my point was.
Yeah, he took Kobe's move of
right.
in the corner, just sends him sailing and takes a little step. If hopefully, and you know, Jared's doomer corner here, I guess. If Colin Chandler was so good in the blue-white game, hopefully that doesn't reflect on Trent Noah looking so good in the blue-white game. Although he's been looking like this all off season. I think he might step nicely into the Kobe Brea mold, which is so sick for that being your 8th or 9th man, to have him just be an absolute money shooter.
Mm-hmm.
I thought Moreno was one of the real bright spots for me. I thought he looked every bit ready for the moment. Only ended up with 4 points, but had 9 boards. Really fought for a couple of them too. Showed some athleticism. A couple nice passes. What do you have? It said 0 assists. That's hard to believe because I feel like he
might have had a few assists, but he definitely I know he had one at least. I remember that 3
but I'm excited for him. He gives a little bit different look than Garrison. Garrison looks much improved, I think, athletically. I know we hear that his conditioning is good, and that showed. Definitely still working on the decision making sometimes. I think improved there, but I had Pope on for a second just after they ended, and he said, so often he makes the right decision, and then a whole nother chunk of the time he almost makes the right decision. And it's like, yeah, that's improvement. We'll take it.
That's classic Pope too. Be like, he almost made the right choice.
Yeah, right. And even for a minute, Reese Potter was the leading scorer on the white team, and they started kind of slow. So I don't think that's indicative of anything. And I actually don't know if he's going to play, but you can't say enough about how deep this team is.
Yeah. If Reese Potter's getting regular play, we're in trouble. That means some bad things have happened to this team. Although Reese Potter is probably about the level of player that Pope was working with for a few years at BYU.
Probably better.
Probably. Yeah.
But I liked that. So in my head, Moreno, like as a recruit all through last year, he was getting better. He was getting bigger. It was nice. But then I was like, how does he fit, right? Like into the Pope system. But then you see tonight, Pope is asking him to be what he isn't, right? He played at the rim. He got a lot of boards. He was passing back out. He wasn't trying to like orchestrate the offense, other than maybe like some handoffs at the top of the key or whatever. But like he looked like he was being put in a position to succeed naturally, which I think a lot of people might have been like, how's that going to work? But really, it's just that we only had 2 big guys last year, right? And this year we have more than that, and we can space and still have the size and the length that we need. But having somebody that can just eat up boards, we didn't have that last year. That was a frustrating thing, especially in SEC play.
Malachi Moreno was getting rebounds. He was ripping them away from Diabate tonight.
Yeah.
And we know that Diabate is strong as hell, and that guy gets rebounds. So I wouldn't say I was down on Moreno, but I wasn't as high as I guess some other people were. And I take the Kentucky players that we get kind of with a grain of salt, because as Kentucky fans, they can overrate the players from Kentucky. We all knew what everybody was saying about Travis Perry last year.
Yeah.
But Moreno looks as good as advertised, and he does not seem to be overhyped with people saying like, hey, he's going to come in, he's going to push Brandon Garrison, because that looks to be the case.
But then it looked like they were playing different positions tonight, right? Because BG was playing on the floor with who was he playing with? With Potter. And like that threw me off, right? Because it's like, how does that work? Do we have 2 5s in, right? But it's like we have these 4.5s and then we have these 5s. Last year we only let them play 4.5.
Yep.
And I think having that kind of flexibility in games and depending on matchups is going to be super key. But defensively, it felt like last year we let people finish at the rim a lot easier than I would have liked. And it's just impossible to do with Moreno bullying you down there.
I think one of the things we talked about last year, like around portal time, was there was a lot of people saying, well, who's going to fit in the Amari role? Who are we going to get that's going to do that? Who are we going to fit in the Kobe Bryant role, the Lamont Butler role? And I think the answer is that Pope is a good enough coach that you don't necessarily need identical pieces each time, and he can work with the pieces he has to build a cohesive team. And yeah, it may have different strengths and weaknesses, but especially after only 1 year, we only have the vocabulary to talk about the Amari role, because that's unless you watched a ton of BYU, that's the only real 5-man. He and BG are the only real 5-man you've seen. And it's fun to start to see how that changes with different skill sets and different players and different team constructions, because even BG this year may not necessarily fit the BG role last year or any of the returning players. So I think that'll be really fun. And you could start to see that a little bit tonight with these guys playing with each other in this new team.
I think last year was a way to artificially stretch the floor, right? When you make it to where the 5-man is going to be at the top of the key instead of you create scoring lanes and you create some spacing that maybe you don't have the shooters to really justify. But this year, because like Yelovich, he was doing like the orchestration, right? It's still going to be a bigger guy that's doing the orchestration at the top of the key. But when you have somebody that's better at it, and then you can still have somebody that plays at the post, it's just like there's this whole aspect of the team that we didn't really see much of last year. And then when we did, like Amari and BG both had issues like finishing at the rim, playing defense at the rim. And they were a lot better at, had like just enforcing their will with their long ass arms in all of the lanes. But with Moreno, it's like, oh, this is something that we just didn't really have before. And I think that JQ is going to be kind of a similar way, right? Where he's just a monster standing there, and nobody wants to go to the rim because they're going to get their shit blocked.
I do like what you said about us playing Amari out last year as sort of a way to manufacture spacing, because we could use all the space we could get last year because we didn't have the athletes to sort of beat your man one-on-one. So when you can sort of play with the spacing and scheme guys open. This year, we do.
Oh, yeah.
With Lowe and with Aberdeen and OA.
Tonight. And there's a lot more confidence in like the dribble and driving. And so like last year we had Owe. We had a little bit of Kobe Brea being able to do it at the end of the year. But this year it's like Aberdeen looks like a freak athlete. He was just playing like it's like he plays 6 inches taller than he actually is. He's fast and he's good with the ball in his hands. And he had Owe. But then you had Diabate, who I think looked incredible going to the rim. And you had Cam Williams and Braden Hawthorne, who I think were maybe a little less confident to finish those shots, but they were getting there. And that's with like what seemed like a lot less space than we had last year.
Threw us off there.
Yeah. No, I think that's true. I also think that I wanted to go back to what you said about the 4.5s because I was thinking about recruiting earlier and even the idea that we would add another freshman 5 for next year at this point is crazy because I think we can assume JQ's gone. But BG, Moreno, Potter, Yelovich, and Diabate are all potentially back. And then I was like, well, 2 of those guys are 4s, but it's like, not really. They could play in a 5. There are trade-offs for sure, but I mean, Yelovich hit a 3 today over the leaping, outstretched arms of BG. Like he is tall and he has confidence as a shooter that I don't think any of those other guys have. Sort of the flip side of that is Diabate doesn't, but have the shooting confidence necessarily at this point. But man, he's a bulldozer out there, and he's a little short for a 5, but dude is strong and he can get a board, and you can play sort of that Draymond Green type. I know that's a big comparison, but basketball with him, and so you have so many options, and some of that comes from our 4s being able to play up at the 5 too. I think.
Yeah, you mentioning Brandon Garrison's leaping, outstretched arms. I could see a little glow in Caleb's eyes because that is what he dreams of regularly: is Brandon Garrison's outstretched arms embracing him. So that was nice for you to say.
I think you'd be able to wrap around me 2 times.
Yeah, be able to have him carry you around a little bit.
Yeah. There's a lot to be excited. It is another thing that's weird about this is, and this is something that I was talking about a little bit with like the way like the Evan Maya's Ken Palm like statistical stuff goes.
Friend of the show.
Yeah. Friend of the show and maybe future guest. Yeah.
Ben's getting on that.
So one thing that they do is they like attribute whatever kind of efficiency numbers to a player, right? But there's a big difference in like the 3rd minute that you're playing and your efficiency and the 10th minute that you're playing and your efficiency. So with this, it's like these guys are playing full out hard. They were playing hard tonight, like harder than I wish they would have. You know, sometimes I'm like, chill out, right? But this isn't how games go, right? You don't have 10 guys playing hard all the time. So it's going to be hard to take any real, like, what does this team look like? But individually, there's a lot of flashes, and you can kind of see how they're being used and whatnot. And but as far as efficiency goes and how players are going to perform, it's a blue-white game.
I would like to see more. Obviously, I want to see Chandler return to his form at the end of last year. He looked like he was playing well in whatever little back and forth they did as part of Big Blue Madness. Just didn't have it tonight. 0 for 7, 0 for 6 from 3. Yeah, and at Pro Day. I would like to see more from Cam. I think Cam has a lot of juice to his game that we didn't see. I'd like to see more Hawthorne. I'm a Hawthorne believer, and he didn't really show off a ton today. But, man, I thought everyone else did pretty well. Owe also slow with 3 points, but I didn't need to see any more from Owe. I know what we've gotten him.
Hawthorne, there were so many times where he made 90% of a play and then would pass it or kind of get a little bit freaked out, it felt like. And it's just like he was putting himself in such good positions that just a little bit of finish and he could have taken over, right? Like, he is gifted athletically and he's got a bag, I think. So that's going to be exciting to watch develop, especially as we play, because we're about to play Purdue next week, but then we're going to play sister schools.
Well, we've got Purdue and Georgetown. I don't know how good Georgetown's supposed to be, but two real solid D1 high major exhibitions.
But then we're going to be playing some
cupcakes like Nicholls State, Louisville.
And that's where we're probably going to see like a lot of the flashes of a lot of these guys get their feet under them. Because right now it's like they're playing against each other, and each other is really good. And then they're going to play Purdue. They need to give them a softball at some point, So, I think that this early season is going to be fun to watch those types of guys and see what they can do.
Shall we go to the chat?
Heck yeah.
Saw some up here. Someone said, that damned Annabelle doll. If Jalen Lowe is seriously hurt, so help me gosh. So true. Why would we bring the Annabelle doll into Lexington at the start of basketball season?
Not a great decision there.
Keep low bubble wrap. So, we also had another one. Jalen wasn't clenching his shoulder and wasn't in obvious pain as he walked off. Makes me think it's not dislocated. See, this is the game we're going to be playing for the next 7 days. Where if the shoulder to pop out, it popped out on its own, might be only 2 to 4. Then someone else asked about a time frame. There's no real way of knowing. I'm not a doctor. I doesn't need surgery. If it's surgery, that's obviously the worst case scenario. I did read online it could be about 3 to 6 weeks, which is a bummer. But I think if he can play, I imagine he will play the Louisville game.
Yeah, once again, I just hate how early that is. Like, not even necessarily because of the JQ and low stuff, although that is a factor. And last year it was a bummer to play that game without maybe our two fieriest individuals in Kirk Friesa and Pryor. But it just feels wrong to play it early. Like, that's supposed to be around the holidays kind of game. It's been that way my whole life. I'm used to that. And I'll be an old man yelling at the clouds saying it's too damn early to play that game.
I do hate it. I think competitively it probably helps us because I think that Kentucky, or Mark Pope at least, does he goes hard on getting these guys to work together quickly. And at the beginning of the season we beat Duke, right? Like, we beat Duke early.
Right.
Because our guys were, not because they were better than Duke, obviously, but like they played better because they had more comfort in the system. And I think, and I mean, Pat Kelsey, we'll see how he does, but that's a whole new team too. And they're going to have to figure it out. And they're going to kind of lean on a freshman to be their star player. And that's hard to do in November.
Yep. I have a boomer take. I hate the Elam endings. I don't like it. I don't like it in the NBA All-Star game. I don't like it in TBT. Hated it in particular tonight because I don't quite understand it.
I did not know what they were even saying for a while. I was like, what does it mean? Like elimination?
I love it in theory. Like in my head, that is a great way to end a basketball game. If that's the way the rules were, I'd be happy. I don't want to change to it, though. A, because I'm so used to what we have. B, because of one TBT game I watched last year where they hit the Elam ending, and the way that works is the first TV timeout under 4, I think under 4, maybe it's under 8, they cut off the clock and they say, all right, whoever's ahead, your score plus 8, first team to that score wins. Which is great if you can make shots, but if you're not making shots and you get more and more exhausted, and then you start missing shots, and then you get more and more exhausted, and then you can't buy a shot, then it just doesn't end because there is no clock. The whole thing is like we want to take the foul game out. Because as you're fouling the other team, if they hit one shot, then that really is advancing them towards the ending. If you're the losing team fouling the winning team. But man, watching these teams just totally incapable of scoring a single point for like half an hour to get us to this winning team score +8 was frustrating, and so I'm totally out.
I like the foul part of it. Like I grew up with that. Everybody did. It's part of the game.
It's
like
a game.
free throws.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, are we bad at free throws?
Oh boy, we didn't start out so hot. We were white team 5 of 9, blue team 3 of 6. So what's that? Total 8 of 15.
And that's the thing, because you can say what you want, like, oh, we make a play on offense. Does the defense suck? Is the offense good? Oh, we blocked a shot. Does the offense suck? Is the defense good? If you're not making your free throws, that is the one thing we can take away from this game as something pointing to how this team is at something.
Well, it is small sample size at least, but who missed them? Owe 1 of 2, Moreno 0 for 2, Chandler 1 for 2, Garrison 0 for 1, Diabate 2 for 4. Everyone else either didn't shoot any or made them all. I don't know. I'll chalk it up to. I'm not worried yet. I'm not worried yet. If that becomes a trend, I'll be worried because that's a really, really frustrating thing that can lose you games.
And you also, when you're playing to draw fouls, you're getting low to draw a foul, or you're getting
right
draw a foul, and that's how it works in a real game.
Well, we don't get calls anyway, so
that's true.
I'm getting sexually harassed in the chat. Why is Jared so dreamy? And then somebody else complimented my hair. Guys, stop flirting with me. I'm here to talk ball. Okay, you guys know where to find my DMs. Let's find a basketball question. Captain Crash says, I'd rather have JQ for the Louisville game than play early and supposedly have that early season edge.
For sure.
I don't agree. Yeah. I'd like to have him play right now.
Mm-hmm.
Call me crazy.
I don't know what happened to my camera. This happened one time last year, and I don't know what happened then either.
Yeah, I remember that. You got the opaque glass.
Well, and it's frozen too. Like, it's not just opaque glass; it's also not moving.
It's a shame this is live, because if we were still doing the recorded ones, I could have a lot of fun with this. But alas, all right, everybody has. Fins on not safe for work. Guys, that's kind of all my thoughts tonight. It's going to be a long week waiting for this Purdue game. So waiting for Clutch Obalo to upload tonight's scrimmage.
Shout out.
Yeah. I hope we did a good job of tampering expectations, because it was okay. I got really excited for it, and there wasn't too much to take away, because the fact that Lowe got injured kind of bummed everybody out, and you could tell. And I think they were teasing doing a third quarter tonight, but you could tell as soon as Lowe got hurt, they put the kibosh on that real quick,
which was a good idea.
Yeah. I don't think anybody wanted to play anymore after Lowe went out.
Yeah.
For those old enough, the Elam ending and seeing Lowe go down reminded me of Clinton Portis getting hurt in a preseason game and cursing the preseason altogether. That's not a great omen, Captain Crash. But yeah, I can see where that comes from, just bombing everybody out. And then Jasper's gonna eat Braden Smith's lunch. Jasper's getting shots off. He was getting good looks. I don't like Ben who because it's not just Owe anymore. We had another guy who was taking mid-range jumpers. And
well, so Jasper took a bunch of floaters, which I could very much live without. I say a bunch, but he went 4 for 7, so and one of those misses was a 3, so can't be too upset. But I'll be on Torvik looking to see who has unacceptable numbers of missed long twos, and I'll be bitching about it every single time we're on here.
We are a anti-mid-range podcast.
Well, Jalen Lowe took more. I mean, I say this: Jasper and Jalen were the two high, like 10 points for Jasper, 9 for Lowe, the two highest scorers here. But like, and then Lowe didn't miss too many either. He was 3 for 6. Also, one miss was a 2 or was a 3. So, that man, I'll be watching.
Yep. All right, fellas. Any closing thoughts before we head out of here, and then we have our big comeback episode for the Purdue exhibition?
Nothing for me.
All right. I'm thinking about just for the Purdue game and with the season starting, I'm thinking about just giving the whole show a new makeover, new background, new intro, whole 9. You know, new season, new us.
I was fiddling around with some stuff earlier to see. Yeah.
Someone's trolling Ben. The mid-range is a lost art in today's basketball, which is actually the best shot in basketball.
Oh man, get out. I read an article the other day about how actually the floater is the worst shot in college sports.
It looks so cool, though.
It does. Remember Deron Lamb's floater? That was sweet. He had a great
It only looks cool. It only looks cool if it goes in.
Someone says Yelovich looks aggressive with the ball. I'm excited to see him off the leash, especially when he actually gets acquainted to the college game. Some of these Euro guys take a little longer to sort of get used to it.
Oh, like that basket interference that I think under FIBA rules would have been totally fine, and under college rules is absolutely a turnover.
Exactly.
Yeah, that was funny. But he did look good.
Good question here. Do we think Yelovich has eaten at KS Bar yet?
I don't know. If he starts eating there, is he gonna have like? Is he gonna need some BB and Sky Rizzy for his belly, like all the other Europeans?
There's no. He wouldn't survive eating at like a Skyline, right?
I don't know, man. That'd be a tough thing to try.
The European mind could never understand.
Yeah, I want to eat chili because it's getting chilly outside, and then I'm like, oh, I want to be able to sleep that night as well. Anybody got any tips? Hit the chat with how can you eat chili without your human body saying, "Why the heck did you just do that?"
If you have a suggestion, leave it in the comments for Caleb.
Yep. I already tried Tums. I try like the dual action, like Pepsids, and nothing. I still get heartburn.
All right, boys.
Also, hold on, just for Wet Rock style. Jordan, Kobe, and SGA, all mid-range assassins. Melo too. Yeah, when you're hitting them like those guys, then I'm not going to go on Torvik and see that you've missed a bunch and bitch at you. That's the answer.
And that's Jasper.
Could be. We already know it's Colin Chandler because he's the claw. He's the next coming of Kawhi. That's canon for the show.
In fairness to Colin Chandler, he only missed 1-2 today. He was just abysmal from 3.
All right, boys. Well, I will see you guys next Friday, 6 o'clock, Kentucky, Purdue. Thank you, everybody, for joining the Catechin. Please like and subscribe on your way out. We really appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week. For Caleb, for Ben, I'm Jared. Go Cats.
Go Cats.